October Red is sponsored by SA Security. Maximum security, minimum fuss.
Hey you guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are. It's Abs of October Red and you are tuned into news and reviews. It's kind of a mixture of both really. Not necessarily news because we all know about it. Not necessarily a review because the fights haven't happened yet, but it's a busy week in boxing. Whether it's the UK, Nigeria, Ghana, Miami, it's all going off. And what the common purpose is it all involves British promotional companies. And I'm going to start off, I think we'll do it in order. So we're going to look at, we've got the show in Nigeria first, which is Amir Khan, Balmoral Promotions, etc. A card that looked okay to start off with. We had the heavyweight, the German prospect that lives out of the UK, Emmanuel Odeazi. He was supposed to be on it, but if you listen to the conversation that we had, there was some kind of doubt whether he was actually going to be on the card, so he wasn't sure, and it was almost like he said they printed the flyer before even, shall we say, closing the deal. Yeah, he more or less says that in the conversation that we had, so you can go back and look on that. Obviously, we know that I believe Adelaide was pulled out because of injury, I think. Either him or his opponent, I don't know. I hadn't paid much notice because I just didn't see it as much of a challenge for him. And it was potentially just a cheeky little payday before Christmas, if they get paid before Christmas. Lawrence Okolie, thinking, okay, he's had his torn bicep, which he tore back in summer. He's recovering, he's getting ready to get back out there again. He was struggling to get an opponent. He was calling out a couple of names. I think they made a potential offer to Dillian Whyte, which wasn't what Dillian Whyte wanted. I think it was short notice as well. There's all sorts of jiggery pokery around that. And now he's fighting Ebenezer Tete, who Dillian Whyte has fought in I think Tete retired. Did he retire on his stool? I don't think it went the full distance, but let me just check that actually before I actually commit to anything, because it was a while ago. I don't think it went to points. Let me just have a quick check before I clarify that. I'm sure, did he retire on his stool? Bear with. I hate the silences, but sometimes silences are good if you can hear anything. It's my log burner in the background. The log's just popping away. I think it was a one-sided fight anyway. I don't know why, I can't seem to get the results up. But obviously Dillian Whyte fought him. Then obviously Fraser Clark went in there and done a job on him. So when you're looking at opponents, like I said, I'm one of these that needs to be fair, and just because I get on with people doesn't mean that I can't give my opinion, which, to be fair, Lawrence is kind of cool like that. He doesn't really take anything seriously. And even when it was announced that he was fighting Tete, I went, not happy with this fight, DM'd him. And yeah, we're not happy with it. I understand that they were struggling to get an opponent, but you've got to look where he's ranked. He's ranked quite highly with the governing bodies. I think he's the highest ranked with the WBC. I think that's the one where he's ranked the highest. And then he's having an opponent like Ebenezer Tete. It's just like, I don't get it. So, yeah, to me, it's a poor fight. I expect him to get him out there early. And he needs to get him out there extremely early, especially after what Fraser Clark did to him. So, yeah, he's ranked number 1 in the WBC, isn't he? So, really, Ebenezer Tete, I don't even know where he's ranked. It's a poor opponent. He's getting out. He's keeping active. But if I can't sit here and moan about Richard fighting Welsh, and then Lawrence Okolie, that's ranked at number 1 in the WBC. WBC's fighting Tete. I just can't do it. So it's not a credible, to me, it's not a credible opponent for the ranking that he's got. And I think Richard's actually ranked higher now than Lawrence Okolie in the IBF. I think Richard's number 9 and Okolie is number 10. And I'll take the actual boxing governing bodies. I take their ranking more serious than I do BoxRec, because BoxRec has got a crazy mathematical formula that doesn't seem to make sense to me. And you can keep retired fighters on there very high up, even though they lost the 2 fights. And then a fighter that hasn't fought in a year just automatically drops off. Makes absolutely no sense to me with BoxRec. So I avoid it like the plague. I download the information, go online and look at the governing bodies, WBO, WBA, IBF, WBC. I have a look at those and see where people are. And that's what makes sense. So theoretically, if Richard was ready, that should have been the fight that happened in Nigeria. They're both Nigerian. That could have definitely worked. So I'm probably just going to check the highlights for that fight. No disrespect, but there's so much going on that night that I won't be, my eyes won't be laser focused on that. Because the fight coming up after that is Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua. Jake Paul's got his name first. Like I said, Anthony Joshua's out on loan from DAZN to go and box on Netflix. I'm happy that Netflix are in the sport. I think they're great. I actually hope that Netflix stay in the sport. So it's great that Most Valuable use them on a majority for their broadcast. All the fight, all the lead up, absolutely everything towards today has been phenomenal from them. Whether it was the face-off with Cameron, I've said that. He did an absolutely fantastic job, asked some really good probing questions, and we got to see some layers peeled back with Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul. We also got to see how confident, I mean, you could argue that it almost seems delusional, but I like that confidence because it's almost like he's convinced himself of who he is and what he's about to achieve. I still can't see him doing it, but I absolutely rate him for pulling this off because, like I said, he's managed to get a fighter that's contracted in to DAZN for the rest of his career. They've managed to pull him out on loan like he's a footballer. That takes some, it's going to be money. Money talks. But to be able to pull that off, phenomenal. Because when that fight was first mentioned, it was like that. Remember before he was supposed to fight Gervonta Davis, and it was like, Anthony Joshua was going to fight Jake Paul, but we've got to go over stuff contractually because obviously there's broadcasting rights. All of that was discussed previously, excuse me. So they managed to pull that off. It's there. People were saying, this is fake. Jake Paul's going to pull out. It's not really going to happen. And look, they haven't got into the ring yet. It's the morning, early hours of Friday, the 19th of December. And that fight is obviously happening in Miami, so it's hours behind. Don't get me wrong, anything can happen. But the chances are this is happening. I will be doing a watch along for the main event only. I've been told by Everything Boxing, so credit to them, that potentially, approximately, the ring walk's going to be 3:30. So what I'll do is I'll get up at 3. If the fight's at 3 and I've just got up, I do apologise. It looks like we're going to miss it. But I'm going to get up at 3 a.m. just for the main event. Hopefully I might catch a little bit of Alicia Baumgardner's fight as well. She's received a lot of criticism in regards to her last performance, and I wanted to check how long she's been with Derek James, how many fights she's had with him. Maybe she just had an off night. Are we too critical of her? Is that why she's kind of, I don't know, she's very front-footed with everybody at the moment. Like I said, I've met her before, absolutely fine. She's always been confident in her skin. That hasn't changed. But I think there's probably a little bit of pressure on Alicia now, especially now that they've brought in Caroline Dubois. And if you're on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, them two have been going at each other for a while. And I think it started potentially with Caroline sticking up for or getting involved in potentially an argument or online beef with Clarissa Shields. And I think it carried on from that. I don't know, because sometimes when it gets too much, you're just like, yeah, not interested. If you're going to fight. I don't want to hear the talking about it. So it was almost like, I'm here now. And Caroline sort of like turned around and says, well, I don't agree with what you're saying. We'll see who's about what after I fight tonight. So that's a fight that could potentially happen. But will it happen straight away? Absolutely not. It's going to be a rivalry that's going to be built for a while, because at the end of the day, what happens, when I say this, I say it in a polite way as well. I want you guys to have a look at the strategy, what Jake Paul's doing. Yeah, he's got a couple of male fighters, don't get me wrong, he's got his male fighters there, but the majority of the fighters that he's got are female. He's clawed a lot of British fighters as well. He's clawed a lot of them over. So he's got this plethora, this bank of female boxers. So is he going to want to like mix them in together straight away? And then potentially lose fighters, depending on how the fighter loses. Will it then create a public disinterest in that fighter? And will he then lose the fighter? There's a lot of people online that are absolutely convinced, on the majority, and I've read through the comments, that Caroline Dubois actually beats Alicia Baumgardner. We don't know until they actually fight. I know that they're both spiteful. I know that they both, they do have power. They've dropped opponents, stopped opponents. I think it's a good fight to happen, but for the sense of the business, I do believe that they should keep them away from each other for a while. It's going to get to the point, I believe, that Jake Paul's going to have the majority, if not all, of the female fighters. And he's created like a little, sort of like a monopoly of it. But if you look at it on the whole, who is really showing that much interest, and I mean now, in the female fighters? It's not, if you've got to be exceptional for somebody to want to like really sign you. And so I think Jake Paul's doing the female boxers justice and creating a little niche. So it's almost like it's going to get to the point when it comes to the female fighters, and I'm not discrediting any of those that are still fighting in the UK or in the US under promotional companies, but it's going to get to the point where people are just going to look at that and think, okay, if I want to watch a female card or I want to see the majority of female fighters, I know that I'm going to go to Most Valuable Promotions. I don't know Caroline Dubois' opponent, and to be fair, I recognise Alicia's, but I'm not too sure on the stats, because I'll put my hands up. Sometimes in female boxing, unless you're really watching it and studying it hard, and I'll give you an example why my answer is my answer. When Tia Ayton boxed on, Wednesday just gone, brilliant little cheeky midweek fight. She boxed an opponent, a Brazilian, that I know had boxed Fran Hennessy, because I watched it. So when I saw that, I knew straight away from the skill set of Tia Ayton that Tia was going to batter her, that she was going to stop her. And I said that because Tia was on the prelims. So I was saying that in the YouTube. I said, this is going to end early. And people was like, but the Brazilian. And I said, nope. Look at the previous opponents. Tia's going to stop her. Tia's very, very skilled. So then you go on to the same card and then you look at Macy Rose. Macy Rose is fighting the same girl that Tia absolutely floored in her debut. So in the mind of Macy Rose, or maybe not, maybe she doesn't care, she's going to be thinking, Tia got her out of here quickly. I've got to do the same. And I think that fight went the distance. So when you look at like the female pool, it is small, but only if you're really concentrating on it. So I knew the opponent, but with these girls, and forgive my ignorance, I don't. So if I'm picking, it's just because I know the fighter And like I said, I know Alicia's had a little bit of negativity, and I can't remember her last fight, so I do apologise for that. Saying that she needs to perform better. I think Ariel Helwani said it. A couple of people have said it. She needs to do better this time. So that pressure's on. And like I said, we've got young Caroline that stepped into the room now. And I do believe when it comes to female boxing, the Americans, they just seem like they're more behind it, or they're more vocal about it, because you could see the comments. There was loads of Americans in the chat, in the comments on the Instagram page, I beg your pardon, and they were like saying, listen, I know Caroline's from the UK, like that's a bad thing, but I'm supporting Caroline. So it's like they feel like they're going against themselves because they're supporting a non-American fighter, which shows the patriotism, which is great. Sometimes I wish we were more like that in the UK. We were more patriotic towards our fighters. And I can put my hands up because I've backed Beterbiev against British fighters. So I can put my hands up and say I'm the hypocrite in this, because what I usually do is I go for the fighter not potentially like the most, but there's a little bit of that, and based upon their skill base. You know, it's like, yeah, I believe they're going to win because of that skill base. So it's a great card. You guys know what's supposed to happen. Anthony Joshua's got to go in there and win early and win by stoppage. There is no other thing that you can accept from AJ. The thing is, a lot of people saying, oh, this is rigged. Can't believe you think it's real. By law, they can't rig fights, because obviously there's betting odds. You've seen things that have happened, especially in the UK, where betting odds, I think the bookies found that some betting was a bit weird. So they contacted the promotional company and went, I think something's going on here, etc., etc. And then they've pulled the fight, and obviously both fighters have faced some sort of investigation and disciplinary. So this is a massive fight. It's not down as an exhibition. It's down as an actual fight. Obviously, I think there's less rounds, bigger gloves, etc. But I'm not going to sit here and say that I think it's rigged, because I don't think it is. You can say I'm ignorant, or whatever words that you want to use to describe it. And I think the answers will be there in the fight itself. We know how both of them box. Some of us will probably know more how Anthony Joshua boxes rather than Jake Paul, but we've got an idea, and I'm sure a mask will slip very, very early if that's the case, but I don't think it's the case. But what I do know is that Anthony Joshua has to get him out there early, just like he did Ngannou. You know, Tyson Fury went the distance with Ngannou. AJ got him in 2. I'm expecting maybe round 3 maximum for AJ. I wouldn't be surprised if he did it in 1. I do believe he has to do it early, because if you think about it, Olympic gold medalist, a 2-time unified world champion, heavyweight, yeah? If he goes the distance with Jake Paul, that's not going to look good on his record, is it? Because Jake Paul is inexperienced. Yes, he's got that athleticism in his family in regards to like wrestling and combat sports. That's there. You can see that he's taking this extremely seriously. But experience, AJ should be able to read him like a book and be able to get him out of there. Obviously, you wish that fighters are okay, that they recover, that they're safe, all the rest of it. But I will say that Jake Paul's got a chance. He's got a puncher's chance, as fighters have. He believes that his boxing skills are better than AJ, and like I said, I admire his confidence. Me looking at it as a true boxing fan, and I've got nothing but respect for Jake Paul, because I admire his hustle. It's almost to the point of delusion. And whatever is said, however tonight ends up, will prove or disprove, you know, his beliefs. But I tell you one thing, he actually believes he's going to win, and he's going to stop him. I think he said, 5 or 6? But we'll see how it goes. Anthony Joshua's trimmed down. I think, what was he, 243 or 245, whatever it was. He looks nice at that weight. He looks lean. You know, that should help. Lawrence Okolie's done a video. I can't remember what channel it is. You know me, I like to pay respects to the channel. It was either Pro Boxing Fans or Seconds Out. I can't remember which one it is. But he's basically saying that Jake Paul's quicker than you think, and you might be surprised of what he can actually do in the fight. So we'll see what happens. But like I said, shout out to MVP, shout out to Netflix, the publication, the behind the scenes, the follow, the lead up has been great. I've watched all of them and I've been entertained through absolutely all of it. There was a very good interview as well, which is outside the MVP and Netflix, which was done by, I think, is it Rick Reno, with Anthony Joshua and Eddie Hearn, which was superb. That was great as well. The thing is, you get the best out of somebody, and that's what I say when I do my conversations, is when they're relaxed. Anthony Joshua, since he's left the UK and he's fighting out in America, has seemed a lot more relaxed. You could say there's contributing factors. He's happier with his boxing team, but he's always happier with them when he starts off. So the honeymoon period, he just seems more relaxed outside of the UK. But we've got more out of him, and it's been fun. It's been fun to watch. It's been great to listen to. And it's been nice to see his personality, which is, it's there. We just haven't really seen it. So great stuff for that. But yeah, watch along, probably 3 a.m., 3:30. So we'll be there for that. Also, then we've got the card in Ghana, which I won't be doing any more watch alongs because it'll be like I'll be hungover because I'm obviously staying up all day today. So yeah, I'll be watching the fights, but there won't be any watch along. And to be fair, because it's Craig Richards and Dan Aziz, I don't really, two great guys that have always had a lot of time for me, and vice versa. Yeah, it's a bit of a tricky one, that is, to pick a side, because look, it was the same thing when Craig Richards fought Joshua Buatsi, when Joshua Buatsi fought Dan Aziz, and now Dan Aziz is fighting Craig Richards. That trilogy of fighters there I get on with quite well because they're good guys, they're great guys, never had a problem with them. It's a tough one. It's a tough one, so I'm gonna leave it as that. So it doesn't matter what I think in my head, I ain't putting anything down on tape. So I'll just leave it there for that. But yeah, boxing, it's been busy. You know, it's changing. I like to see that the attention for this week has been driven away from Riyadh season. It's given another promotional company another investor time to shine, because I think that's fair. I think it's good that we get to look at how other people work and we're not just locked into one kind of style. So I think it's been great for our eyes to experience something different, because it seems like for the last couple of years we've kind of like just had one lock-in. So it's nice to see something different. I hope they stay in it. I hope they sign more fighters. I hope Netflix stay in it. So yeah, good luck for them, for all of them. Also, I don't know if I'm probably going to do one of these at the end of the year, but before I go, I just want to say a massive, massive thank you to all of you that have subscribed. Whether you've been here from the beginning, you've just turned up today, whatever it is, you are extremely valued. For those of you that write those lengthy, detailed comments, giving your point of view, constructive feedback, whatever it is, it's appreciated. I enjoy reading the comments. I really like to engage with everybody, because at the end of the day, I'm a fan of the sport, just like you are. So for you to take your time out of your day to comment on my posts, on the content, I appreciate it a lot, and that's why I try my best to reply to everybody. If I miss comments, it's probably because I haven't seen them, or I don't think they're, or they're stupid comments that I'm not going to reply to. And that goes on to kind of like cover off what I put up in my community section, where I posted a comment, a message for everybody, which passes on the sincere thank you. But it also says what I'll start to do is just hide If the comments are just like, it's just like pointless. If you're wasting my time, I'm going to make sure you waste yours, and I'll just hide you out of the eyes of others. And every single username you set up, obviously, the more comments come in. It's just a simple click on a button. I will ask some of my valued subscribers as well. I'm going to try over the next few days to make you guys moderators, so you can sift out some of the rubbish as well. Just to keep the community as it is. We've grown it together. This is our community. I take pride in that community. I'm forever grateful that all of you are in the community and we're growing together. It feels like it's a meeting. We have a meeting. It's our boxing room. We have a meeting. We do the lives. The regular names pop up. And I love banter. I love banter. I love sarcasm. And I have got a sense of humour, believe it or not. Those that know me, that have been with me for years, will know that I have. However, if I know that you're just being an idiot, or you're doing it to be insultive, or you're trying to be abusive, it's not going to work. And you're going to have to talk to yourself. And that's just the way it is. Because it's easy for people, faceless accounts, no names there, not public facing, to say what they're like. But you do it. You do what I do. If you can do better than me, you don't like my style, you set up your own channel, you grow it. And I wish you all the best with that venture. Because like I said before, I'm not in competition with anybody. I've always believed there's been enough food at the table for us all to eat. So yeah, I think that's it really. Kind of like summarise that up. Busy week of boxing. Watch along early hours of tomorrow morning. Hope to see as many of you there as possible. Content upcoming. I'll be live with Base and Danny next week Tuesday, as we broadcast across all of our channels. So that'll be Tuesday. So it's like the eve of Christmas Eve. I'm going to see if I can get some people on just to talk about the last year of boxing. These will potentially be either lives online or just online conversations that I'll upload until I think the next fight date is the Magnificent 7, which is in Manchester, and I will be attending that event and hopefully the media days before it. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. If you've got this far, absolutely well done to you. And yeah, as we say at October Red, stay ready.
October Red is sponsored by SA Security. Maximum security, minimum fuss.